It has been a quarter of a century since I was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is amazing when you consider I'm only 27 years old. Now, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of my ADHD diagnosis, by the way, I'm Rick Green, I'm a comedian, I'm a model railroader, which I'm most proud of. I have a family, and yeah. But to celebrate the 25th anniversary of my ADHD diagnosis, I've been looking back at those early days when the doctor gave me the news, the startling, unexpected, but boy, this suddenly makes sense news. My diagnosis probably would never have happened, but my son was diagnosed. And back then, that was probably the most common route for adults to find out they had this mindset, because it runs in families. It's almost as heritable as your height. I was struck by how little was known back then. There were a few books out. The media dismissed ADHD as an excuse for poorly parented, undisciplined little boys. Ritalin? That was a dangerous drug that zombified creative children. Parents vowed never to give their child a stimulant as they sipped their coffee and their kids pounded back caffeine-laced soda pop and chocolate. Yeah. Today there are so many books, articles, online quizzes, podcasts, research, support groups, and a medical community that has, to the most part, at least where I live, has accepted that adults can have ADHD. But when I told my mom, because in those first month or two, I was telling everybody, big mistake, but when I told my mom, her reaction was, "It's always something with you, isn't it?" Ouch! I just got diagnosed with a mental disorder. I'm really unsure of myself. I'm trying to figure out what is me and what is a disorder. And I'm looking back at my life and I'm seeing all these ways it affected. And it's always something with you. As you can tell, that stung. But eventually I came to a conclusion, a startling conclusion, that she was right. It was always something with me, something going on. The reason is ADHD rarely comes alone. 70% of people who have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder also have a second disorder. 40% have 3 or more. And those include like mood disorders, anxiety disorders, you have a much higher rate, alcohol abuse, substance abuse, personality disorders, antisocial behavior, Tourette's syndrome, dyslexia, and dyscalculia, that's for numbers. The brain is complex. Everything overlaps. That whole left brain does this and right brain does that. Even that's kind of simplifying things. I mean, yeah, maybe more so and maybe more so, but it's not clean cut. It's not neat. The brain is not neat. And so getting diagnosed and finding out what's going on is not neat. So from my mom's point of view, it was always something. That was her experience of me. But I knew as I got into it very quickly, and I was voracious reading and figuring things out, I knew that ADHD explained so much. As Dr. Ari Tuckman told me, when you have undiagnosed ADHD, you'd have to be a little crazy not to be crazy. And he was using the term not in a pejorative sense. Is that the right word? Anyway, you know what he meant, that it's depressing and frustrating and anxiety-inducing when you can't figure out why you can't do things other people can, and you soar at things that other people find difficult to do. Anyway, Mom came on board, especially once we made the documentary ADD and Loving It. And then when I won the Order of Canada and the Order of Ontario, yeah, I know I'm bragging, and all the other stuff, Mom was still alive when all that happened, and she was thrilled. She was delighted. So, yeah, so much has changed in 25 years. There's so much more knowledge, more resources, more understanding, and more research. And research is ongoing. There's more still to discover. Most recently has been the overlap between autism spectrum disorder and attention hyperactivity disorder, ADHD and ASD. And they're calling it AUDHD, which I think I may have. Apparently, if you have a huge model railroad, that's a sign you're on that spectrum somewhere. I'm looking into that as well. I'll bring you up to date as things progress. But the point is, 2 points really. I wouldn't tell people, especially if you're a parent, rarely share it except with the teacher. And even then, you got to make sure the teacher understands what's going on here. Although probably if the teacher's had your kid in the class for more than 2 or 3 weeks, they're going, yeah, because they're talking and there's 29 kids sitting there and one's going, maybe 2. The second point is if people react negatively to your diagnosis, and that happens a lot less because so many people are now aware of what's going on, and so many successful people, celebrities and so on, have come out about their ADHD and are open and above board about it. So those people are making a difference. So when people react with, I don't believe in ADHD, or it's just laziness, or it's always something with you, or it's just an excuse, well, they don't know what they're talking about. That's okay. They'll learn. And the people who are the most dismissive, who read that list of symptoms and look at it and go, oh, this is normal, that's because they have ADHD and it's normal for them. All right, I'm Rick Green. Thanks for watching. Do please comment, like, and share. It makes a huge difference in allowing us to be able to continue doing this. But the key is really our patrons. Without their support, we just can't keep making videos. So become a patron and we will continue making videos. And how you become a patron, it's all on the screen there, and it'll probably be in the explanation. I don't handle that part because it would never get done. That's David. He's awesome. Thank you.